Good morning. Alright, so here's the thing. I do talk about esports quite a lot on this channel, and obviously in particular StarCraft 2, but I never really do any predictions for tournaments. Now later this week, on Thursday, I will be driving down to Krefeld in Germany, which is where Homestory Cup takes place in the LowkoTV studios. And this time around, rather than just simply watching the games, I am there to commentate them. So massive shout out to eBay for sponsoring Homestory Cup, but also for sponsoring this video. I'm really looking forward to it though. I think it's gonna be an awesome event. I mean, it will be the first big StarCraft 2 event with the new multiplayer balance patch that will go live, I think actually tomorrow. I'm recording this on Tuesday, so I think it's gonna go live tomorrow. Usually I am kinda accurate with my predictions. I did, for example, predict Serral to win BlizzCon, although I guess I was on that hype train as well. But regardless, I've been doing predictions for probably several years now over at my Twitch channel, and I figured it's about time to do so on YouTube as well. Now keep in mind though, I may be completely wrong. It's a new balance patch, there's gonna be new strategies that will be played, and we have no idea how good all of the pros are going to be at dealing with all of the different kinds of aggression. But here we go. So the way that this is played out is in a round-robin group initially, and then we have a double elimination bracket. In the round-robin group though, we have 8 players in each group, and 4 of them will move on towards the bracket play. Now for Group A, there's Rogue, Showtime, Euthermal, Cure, Hearthstone, Namshar, Marine Lord, and Rail. And in general, that already is an extremely difficult group to call. I think the top name in this group is gonna be none other than Rogue. I mean, even though Rogue didn't win BlizzCon in 2018, he did do so in 2017, and I still consider him to be one of the very, very highest level Zerg players on the planet. So I do expect Rogue is gonna make it out of that group. But for the other 3 spots, we have players like Showtime, Euthermal, Cure, Hearthstone, Namshar. I'm not entirely sure how good Marine Lord and Real are right now. I do know that Namshar in WCS Valencia Challenger, if I'm not mistaken, ended up making it to the grand finals against Serral there. So it's really hard to say who's gonna be moving on out of Group A. I mean, there's 2 Dutch players. I don't want to get all too biased. Obviously, Euthermal and Hearthstone are from the Netherlands, and I am as well, so I really want them to do really well. I think most likely though, it's gonna be Rogue, Showtime, Cure, and then either Euthermal or Hearthstone. I think that might be it. Although sometimes Euthermal shows up and just simply absolutely smashes the competition. I'm not entirely sure how good he is currently and how much he has been practicing the new patch, but I do think that Rogue, Cure, Showtime, Euthermal, Hearthstone. I think it's gonna be a toss-up between those 4 players. The thing is though, Cure is also in that group, and I always feel that Cure is one of those Terran players who's kinda like overshadowed by, for example, a Maru or for example an Innovation. I mean, he is on Jin Eric Greenwings, together with Rogue, they're actually teammates. And he is easily one of the strongest Terran players on the planet. So I think my first 2 positions in that group are gonna go to Rogue and Cure. And then it's gonna be a toss-up for the final 2 spots between Showtime, Euthermal, and Hearthstone. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna settle on. I mean, I don't want to be that boring guy who's just gonna be picking all of the Koreans, okay? But the Koreans are just simply really good at StarCraft, guys. I mean, I can't help that either. Alrighty, Group B. Innovation, Elaser, Creator, Raynor, Kalazur, Denver, Zanster, and Goblin. Very difficult group once again to predict. Now, the biggest name in that group is obviously Innovation. Innovation has been around for years and years and years, although in 2018, he hasn't looked nearly as strong as he did in previous years, although I still consider him to be one of the top tier Terran players in the world. You know what? You guys know I've been fanboying about the 16-year-old Italian Zerg for several years now. I'm gonna make the prediction, and this is a bit of a bold one. I'm gonna make the prediction that Raynor is gonna take that group. I think Raynor is an absolutely phenomenal player. Every single time I've seen him play in 2018, he seems to be getting better and better and better. I mean, he almost won one of the WCS events against Serral. where he went up against Serral in the grand finals, and he almost ended up winning against Serral. And the only reason why Raynor did not make it to BlizzCon this year is because he couldn't participate in the first 2 premier events of the year, and he didn't accumulate any points for the WCS standings. Raynor, like the reason why he didn't participate, by the way, is because he only turned 16 halfway throughout the year, and for all of the official Blizzard events, you need to be 16 years old or older in order to participate. So I think Raynor actually has a really, really good shot in that group, and I think he honestly might be the strongest player. Now, there's obviously going to be players like Elazer, who's an absolute monster. Creator actually showed up recently in the GSL Codes. I think Kalazur is really good as well. Difficult groups, guys. Difficult groups. It's really hard to say who's going to be the best. But I think it is going to be a toss-up between Raynor, Innovation in the first 2 positions, and then Elazer, Creator, Kalazur for the last 2 spots. But I'm going to say Raynor in first place. Yep. I believe. I believe he can do it. Alrighty, Group C. Now, this is the group that some people have been calling the Group of Death, although I don't think there's really one clear Group of Death, but it is going to be an exciting one. We have Serral, the current world champion, Sue, Trap, Bunny, Bly, Sol, Stefano, and Hellraiser. This is a difficult group. I think the 4 players right there that are named off at the top of the list are probably the strongest ones. We have Serral, Sue, Trap, and Bunny. Once again, I mean, that's 3 Koreans. I hate to break it to you, but the Koreans are just simply really good. Although, I have been really impressed by Bly's play lately. And in particular with, like, new patches, Bly likes to play really aggressive and he likes to play unorthodox. He seems to be one of those players who figures out new strategies faster than others. Or at the very least, he's really good at adapting to new patches. So I think that Bly has got a really good shot here too. I have been really impressed with Sol, although I wouldn't put him at the same level as Bunny right now. I mean, Bunny is another Terran player in that group, right? Bunny is an absolute phenomenal player. Trap is one of the highest level Protosses on the planet. And Sue obviously is notorious for getting second place. It is almost sad. Like, if Sue would have won every single tournament grand finals that he's ever been in, he would have been by far the strongest and most dominant StarCraft 2 player of all time. Yet Sue pretty much always gets second place in the grand finals. It is a little bit sad. I mean, I sometimes feel a little bad for the guy, and then you realize, you know, in the grand scheme of things, he has still done very well for himself over the last couple of years as far as prize money and whatnot goes. But obviously, Serral in first place for that group, right? We do get to see Serral versus Sue, which is going to be an exciting set of games. I think Serral versus Trap is going to be really, really good as well. But regardless, I do think that Serral, coming hot off of BlizzCon, he won every single premier event in 2018 that he participated in. That's the 4 official Blizzard events, as well as, you know, the World Championship Series. Serral ended up winning it all, so I think Serral is the clear favorite in that group. For the other 3 spots, though, I'm going to go with Trap and Sue in particular. I don't think we want to be sleeping on Bunny, because Bunny is really, really good, but I also think that someone like Bly has a really good shot. I did watch some of Stefano's live stream recently, and I was actually really impressed with the way that he was playing. I mean, as you guys know, Stefano is technically retired from StarCraft, although he does still participate in a lot of events. And I think he's like currently like rank 3 or 4 on the European ladder, so Stefano is extremely good as well. I just don't really know how he stacks up against someone of the caliber of Serral, or for example, someone of the caliber of Sue. Now, statistically speaking and historically speaking, Stefano's Zerg versus Zerg has always been a little bit shaky. So I do think he's got a good shot against, in particular, Trap, Bunny, Sol, Hellraiser, and yeah, maybe Bly. We'll see. Man, these games are going to be good. They're going to be really, really fun. And then we have the final group, Group D. So there's Solar, Lambo, Zest, Teja, Mana, Petit Drogo, Clem, and Swordolf. Alright. Solar, obviously, very high level Zerg player. I think he's just below the caliber of a Serral, of a Dark, of a Sue. I think those players are just a little bit better, but sometimes Solar really, really does surprise. Lambo, of course, recently made it to BlizzCon. He made it to the round of 16, if I'm not mistaken. But he's a really good player, and on top of that, he is one of those hometown heroes, being from Germany, and obviously the event will take place in Germany. So I'm definitely gonna place him very highly there as well. Obviously, one thing you also do want to keep in mind for these kind of events is that all of these players from Korea are likely going to be at least a little bit jet-lagged, so that is something to keep in mind. There's Zest. I mean, what do I have to say about Zest? Zest is one of those players who's been around for years. He made it to a GSL Code S Grand Finals this year. Zest is an absolute monster. I don't think we can deny any of that. Then there's Teja, who's once again back after his military service. He used to be extremely dominant back in the day. Nowadays, it's a little hard to call. Mana looked really dominant earlier this year as well. Then we have Petit Drogo, Clem, and Swordolf, who also are actually really, really good. Okay, I guess I may just have to go out and say that Solar and Zest are going to be the clear favorites in this group. And then I think for the last two spots, I think Lambo is very likely to make it out. And then I don't know how good Teja honestly is. Teja's one of those players who I enjoyed watching years ago. And while, you know, sometimes players come back and they're once again very, very good, some other players come back and they realize that the skill level has climbed up very, very steadily and they just aren't able to keep up. So it's really hard to say. It really depends on what kind of form people will bring. Obviously, Clem has been really impressive as well. He's improved a lot in 2018. Another one of those 16-year-old players. Actually, there's Goblin as well, right? Yeah, Goblin is in one of the groups too. Goblin is another 16-year-old player. And they have all been looking really, really impressive in 2018 so far. But anyways, I think Solar, Zest, and Lambo are by far the most likely for this group. And then the other players, they're like the final spot, they're gonna be extremely difficult to call. Now, by the way, for those of you wondering, these are all round robin groups like I mentioned, but in the group stage, all of the matches will be best of 3 as well, which really does mean we are up for a ton of games. There's going to be a ton of games that will be played, and after the group stage, we will be going into a double elimination bracket play. Basically, the higher you place in your group, if you manage to get into the first or the second position, the further you get seeded into the bracket play already. Now, once we get to the bracket play, if you get eliminated in your first round, for example, you don't just get eliminated from the tournament, but you drop down to the loser bracket. And obviously, if you get eliminated further on into the winner bracket, you once again get pushed down into the loser bracket. So it's a rather complicated system that really does make it very, very fair. If you're playing well, you are likely to do well. It's not like you can be seeded into a group, like say you're a non-Korean player who's trying his very hardest to make a name for himself, and you get placed into like a 4-man group, and you have 3 Koreans going up against you. I mean, it's going to be very difficult to make your way out of this, but in this kind of scenario with the double elimination as well as the round-robin groups in best-of-3 series, I think it's probably one of the fairest ways to play StarCraft 2 and to do a tournament. I can't really tell you who's gonna be winning this tournament through the bracket play, but as far as my personal favorites for the entire event go, I'm gonna go with Rogue. I'm gonna go with Raynor in Group B. I'm gonna go with Zero in Group C. And I think I'm gonna go with Zest in Group D. I think those are my 4 favorites. Now, coincidentally, 3 of those are Zerg players. I mean, I don't want to be biased, but, you know, they are Zerg players, and I think they are very good. Anyways, those are my predictions for Homestory Cup 2019. Let me know down below in the comment section who your favorite players are. Now, once again, shout out to eBay for sponsoring Homestory Cup. And if you want to help out esports as well as Homestory Cup, as well as eBay, I will post a link down below in the description as well as in the comment section in like a pinned comment with a link that will take you to the eBay website where you can just simply purchase stuff like you normally would, except you get to support esports directly. So have a look right over there. The link is down below. Make sure to give it a click and check out what it is all about. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day, okay? Do not forget to smile, and I will see you once again in the next one.